It's definitely in my top 3 for sure. And that was my Super Mario Odyssey 5-year anniversary review.
Silver didn't do a too bad job on the review.
Anyway,
Wait.
thanks for watching.
Wait a minute! I forgot to flush the toilet! Wait, aren't the Mario games supposed to be gone? This is getting weird. I forgot to talk to Silver.
In the deep dark lair of MegaSilver 3000.
Hey Silver, what's going on with the, What's going on?
Yawn. Hey, Retro.
You... okay?
Oh, I've been better.
So, what's with you stealing my 7-Up stash?
Well, it all started when I decided to review a game. I think it was called Morbius Combo 9. Then I brought Shimoda on board and he stretched the video into a 2-hour long video and... oh yeah, you teased the video before the script was even done. Thanks a lot for that.
You're welcome. But now that I know you're not dead, tell me, you know how my whole Mario game collection disappeared and everything? You know, that's all that stuff. So, how do you have Super Mario Odyssey?
I managed to save my Mario games before Doug Bowser got his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet and wiped them from existence.
What? How did you manage that? Are you a wizard, Silver?
Am I a what?
You're a wizard, aren't you, Silver?
No, I'm not.
Silver, you are a wizard! How else could you still have your Mario games?
Listen, Retro! I'm not a bloody wizard, you little pixelated douchebag!
Okay, you've gone too far, you Shorty McMuffin!
Okay, you want a piece of me?
Silver, are those the frickin' Mario games?
Yes, those are my Mario games that I stored in this special closet before Nintendo initiated their plan to erase them from existence.
Your closet. Saved your games. Just yours.
Yeah, I mean, the games have to be in the closet so Nintendo don't find them.
Can I play a game or two with you? I've got nothing else to play. Sonic's dead too.
Sure, I could use a good game right now after... that!
The top 100 Mario... why does that keep happening to me? Ooh, Super Mario Kart!
Can't we play 8 Deluxe instead?
I said Super!
Mario Kart! Thanks for watching, comment, like, and subscribe!
Really?
So, what the heck is a Mario Kart? Well, for those of you living under a rock, Mario Kart is a popular kart racing series starring Nintendo's money-making mascot, Mario! Woohoo!
It's a me, Chris Pratt. That's not the voice, but you'll get it later in the review. By the early 90s, Mario was a pretty big name after appearing in Donkey Kong and the widely successful Super Mario Bros. Series on the NES, followed by Super Mario World, which came out as a launch title for the Super Nintendicom, all developed by the one and only Shigeru Miyamoto. That's right, he is back!
But there was another game that came out alongside the launch of the system, and that game was a high-speed racing game called F-Zero, which took advantage of a little feature on the console called Mode 7, which gave the game a 3D-like perspective. If you want to know my thoughts on that game, you can watch my review of it. Or don't. It was one of my first ever reviews. It hasn't aged the greatest. Miyamoto-san, who contributed to the development of the console, wanted the Super Famicom to have more multiplayer games, hence why there are 2 controllers bundled with the system.
What started out as a way to play F-Zero with 2 players slowly turned into a kart racing game. They tried coming up with original character designs, with one of them wearing overalls. Yeah, you can guess why they ended up making this a Mario-themed kart racer. There's a lot more happening during the development, like a bunch of programmers building a mini go-kart toy, only to crash it right away, but that's pretty much the main development story.
Super Mario Kart released in 1992 in North America, Japan and the UK,
And probably Ireland.
and then the following year in Europe. And despite this game not getting much hype towards its release, it was still a huge success, becoming one of the SNES's killer apps.
And of course, it gave birth to arguably R2D2. And of course, it gave birth to arguably the most successful multiplayer-based video game series, with most future entries being better than their predecessors. And this series continues to be a huge success. I mean, we still don't got a port of the arcade GP games, but a guy can dream, damn it.
And we can all be assured that Mario Kart 9 will never be coming out anytime soon because Mario Kart 8 keeps selling like hotcakes. Well, the DLC is cool at least, so I'm fine with 8 sticking around for a little while longer.
Bring back all of Rainbow Road! Boycott Nintendo! Boycott Sega! Boycott the Milky Way Galaxy! Who needs a planet?
Yo, who the fuck is threatening Sega? I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Wait, I thought we were talking about Mario Kart, not Majora's fucking Mask!
Get on with it!
Hey, I'm not the one who started spouting out nonsense about boycotting the whole freaking galaxy!
Who needs a planet?
So, the first Mario Kart, the only one to have a word before Mario Kart in the title. So, what's the story with Mario Kart? Why are all these characters deciding to jump into go-karts and race each other with one of them turning his entire castle into a racetrack? What's the whole reasoning behind all this? Now moving on to gameplay.
Super Mario Kart gives you 8 drivers to choose from. You've got Mario, Luigi, Princess P, Todd, Koopa Troopa,
My boy!
Yosh, Jack Black, and Little Donkey Kong Jr. Gonna cry? The characters are given different weight classes. Smaller characters like Toad can go faster, but can get pushed around easily. And bigger characters like Bowser can knock others out of the way, but aren't as fast. For the single player mode, we've got 2 modes, Grand Prix and Time Trial mode. Grand Prix is basically the main mode of the game. You play through 5 courses, try to earn enough points by the end to get the gold trophy. A simple and easy concept to understand. You have 3 engine classes to choose from, 50cc, 100cc, and the unlockable 150cc. Basically, it's easy, normal, and hard. There are 4 cups. You drink out of them. The Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, and the Special Cup, which you unlock by beating the first 3 cups on 100cc. So yeah, 50cc is basically a waste of time. Don't play this game, Nintendo sucks. Go play the Neo Geo 64.
So as for the gameplay itself, oh boy yeah, that's a rough first entry in a video game series alright. So if you've played a racing game, well you know the drill. You race against CPU opponents and try your best to nab first place. You press B to accelerate. Hi, welcome to why Super Mario Kart has not aged that well. Reason number 1. Why do you have to press B to accelerate and not A like the other Mario Kart games? A is to use items, which we will get to shortly. And the R or L button is to drift. Why Super Mario Kart has not aged that well. Reason number 2. The drifting doesn't work very well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Turning is horrible. You slip and slide all over the place. You also gravitate in the opposite direction of where you want to go. And for a racing game, that's no good. And the drifting is not much better. But the worst part is that you need to get good at the drifting if you want to win those 100cc cups. The best way I can explain how to keep control is when you complete your drift, jump and turn in the opposite direction while in the air, or counter steer. And I still can't win one freaking race! I got last place over and over and over! Ah! If I get any further, I'll try to update you. If not, you owe me a scribble.
Hey, this is my channel. Also, not only is the drifting so awkward to pull off, but steering is also unreliable. Like, it feels like your car is on ice the whole time. Even when I try to make a simple turn, I end up sliding off the course. And let me tell you, this game ain't easy, even if you have played any of the later Mario Kart games. This is the one you have to put the most effort into getting good at, and you can't lose. No, like actually, you cannot lose, because you know what happens if you get below 4th place? You get ranked out, and you lose a life. Yeah, that's right. There's a live system in this game. Why Super Mario Kart hasn't aged well, reason number 3. Why the heck is there a live system? I know this game came out in 1992 and all, but why the heck would you put a freaking live system in a kart racer? In fact, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Lives in video games are bullshit. Period.
Hey!
So if you rank below 4th 3 times, you gotta start the whole Grand Prix all over again. Woohoo!
Now, this wouldn't be a Mario Kart. Silver has the best misspelling I've ever seen.
Oh, like Kung Fu Panda?
Now, this wouldn't be a Mario Kart game without the items. And Super Mario Kart, being the first game in the series, certainly delivers on a hearty dose of underwhelming. Look, I know we're dumping on this game for not being as polished as the newer Mario Kart games, but we can't help it. We didn't exactly exist when this game came out. Look, you guys probably know I love retro games as much as the next guy, but when the mechanics are unreliable, it really gets in the way of just trying to enjoy the game. Oh, and some characters can use special items.
Why Super Mario Kart hasn't aged well, reason number 4. Characters can just abuse their items whenever they please. Why? 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 Who thought that this was fair? And not to mention that Mario and Luigi can spam their star item whenever they feel like it. It's so unfair. And you have to grab an item from one of the item panels, which are usually only in one spot on the track and a few hidden areas. Oh, and guess what? The characters can just hop over certain items because they're freaking cheaters. This really makes the game more frustrating to play than any other Mario Kart after it, since the AI just has such an unfair advantage over you.
Okay, when MegaSilver and was working on the scripts, since I was absent at the time because we have different schedules, he assumed I didn't like this mechanic. But I think it makes sense. Let me explain. Originally, the developers wanted both you and the CPU players to be able to use items, but because of the limitations of the Super NES, they weren't able to do that very well. So instead of the CPUs being able to use all these wonderful items, because the blue shell didn't exist, they can only use the one special items. So Koopa Troopa can only use the green shells, Mario and Luigi can only use stars, DK Jr. can only use bananas, Princess Peach can only use the poison mushrooms, etc. So if you think about it, this is a pretty smart way to balance it all out. So, as for the items themselves, here are the ones that all characters can use. The mushroom makes you go fast! Gotta go fast! Gotta go fast! Green shells, you use them to try and knock out an opponent. Otherwise, they ricochet off of everything until they hit someone. Red shells lock onto an opponent, but there's no guarantee that's gonna hit the opponent, since it's more likely to hit a wall, so use it wisely.
Banana peels. I think you can guess what they do.
The star makes you invincible for a short time, just like in Super Mario Bros.
The lightning. It turns everyone else tiny for a short period of time.
And it's pretty much my backstory.
The feather lets you jump pretty high, and if you use it in the right spots you can create your own shortcuts.
And finally, the coin. It gives you 2 coins. Can you feel it? Can you feel the excitement? Oh yeah, collecting coins can slightly increase your top speed. Nearly forgot to mention the function. I played Mario Kart 7 for years not knowing what they did. There's one item that's exclusive to the Battle and Versus mode, but we'll get to that soon enough. Looking back, the items don't feel as focused as later games, but it's still pretty fun. As the old saying goes, it ain't Mario Kart without the items. And the blue shell. Can't wait for that next one. This game has 20 courses for you to race on, but you wanna know how many teams there are? 8. 8 themes! I mean, they're alright, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, couldn't you have added more teams? Like the caves? Or the clouds? Heck, I'll even take Giant Land, and that world is overrated. Why are you booing me? I'm right!
So let's start off with a course that would go on to be a series staple. Mario Circuit. It's a very basic starting course. There's not really a whole lot going on visually. The most you'll see are flat blocks and pipes in the way. However, the second one does try to sort of spice things up by adding a ramp at the end, where you get to jump over a chunk of the course. That's neat, I guess.
Donut plains. donuts. You thought I was gonna do a Homer Simpson reference, didn't you? Too bad. This team, as well as a few other teams, are based on Super Mario World. This is a bit more slipperier since you're now racing on dirt, so be careful. Also Monty Moles.
And there is that section in the final Donut Plains level where a section of the bridge is broken, so you have to hop over it. Otherwise, you fall into the water. And let me tell you, out of all the Mario Kart games, falling into the water in this one is the absolute worst. In games like Double Dash, Wii, or 7, for example, if you fell into the water, Lakitu would be able to fish you out in no time. But in this game, oh no! If you fall into the water, you drive very slowly. And you have to wait like 5 seconds for Lakitu to come and fish you out. Why Super Mario Kart has an age well reason number 5. Lakitu is shit at doing his job.
Goose Valley has a lot of pits and fallen blocks once you bump into them. Try not to fall off here. Bowser Castle has lava and swamps. There's a lot more walls here than the other teams, so you'll be bumping more than going off course. Choco Island is literally Donut Plains, but more slipperier. I really dread playing through this team. And in case you're wondering, yes, the ground is made of chocolate.
Chocolate! Koopa Troopa Beach has shallow water to slow you down. And what I guess is seaweed that makes you slide around?
Vanilla Lake is all icy, so you go whee! This is weird coming from me, but I do kind of find this team fun, even if I don't win.
And finally, the course that is by tradition the final one in every Mario Kart game, well, the Special Cup anyways, the mother of all difficult racing game courses, Rainbow Road. It's a course that is set in space! And there are no guardrails to be found anywhere on this track, so good luck trying to beat it without falling off. And need I remind you how useless Lakitu is at doing his job? There are thwomps everywhere to try and slow you down, and they are more powerful than the ones in Bowser's castles, because not only do they squish you, if you touch them, you gotta start the whole game all over again. Nah, they just hurt you.
Now, since I wasn't able to pass the first dog gam! They should make a Nickelodeon show called Dog Gam. And it's a cool dog. Now, since I wasn't able to pass the first goddamn course in a special course, I will be talking about it. Is what I would say, but then a miracle happened. I passed it! Screw Donut Plains Tree! It has the tightest turns in the whole freaking game! So, Rainbow Road. For what is the last course in the game, it was a bad one.
If you've made it this far, this is a test of your skills. And it looks freaking beautiful. This is without a doubt the prettiest looking course in the whole game. And it probably helps that this is the only Rainbow Road track in the whole game. And that's what also makes it special. It may be a really difficult course, but it's nice to have the final track of the game be the most unique and stylish one in the whole game.
As cool as this course may look in contrast to the rest of the game, let this course set an example for the whole game. You either get good with the drifting, or don't freaking win. Silver, I know this isn't the end of the review where we see our final overall thoughts and stuff, but... You see that's all there is to it. I kept screaming so much, I don't even have the energy for it anymore.
But if you're tired of getting your butt kicked in Grand Prix, well, no worries, this game has other modes for you to try out. The only other single player mode in this game is Time Trial mode. It's pretty self-explanatory. You race across the course and try to get your best time. However, if you hit something, your time doesn't save. A bit weird, but I suppose when you're playing time trials, your goal is to play as flawlessly as possible.
But of course, you can also play this game with a friend, or a frenemy. The whole reason this game was made in the first place. You can do the Grand Prix together, which is really awesome, since you may have a better chance at winning with one less CPU. You can do a 1-on-1 versus mode on any course of your choosing. Not too bad. Though I do wish we had the option to remove those sliding bullet bills. Wait, what? Hold up, what? That's a bullet bill? Sliding side to side while facing you?
And lastly, there's battle mode. You and your opponent have 3 balloons which act as your health bar. Hit them with your items and whoever is still holding on to at least 1 balloon is the winner. So basically, it's a duel to the death, but with go-karts! And the multiplayer mode is where you have access to an exclusive item, that being the boo. This little bastard turns the user invisible, makes them invulnerable, and steals the other player's item.
I was honestly not expecting this mode in the game to be this good. It's really fun, even with all the flaws and limitations. And Silver, the boo is not that bad. Get good.
Shut up, you can't even beat Eggman Land properly.
The game looks pretty good. It's a huge step up from F-Zero. Got good use of the colors, and everything looks how it's supposed to look for the time, ignoring the flat blocks.
And as we said, Rainbow Road is hands down the most visually appealing course in the whole game. Oh, and the Mode 7 is good. It may not be true 3D, but just like F-Zero, for what they could do with the technology at the time, it looks pretty good.
I'd say more, but I think it works best in F-Zero. Or that's the excuse I'm using to say nothing. The music sounds pretty good too. While it's not done by the legendary Koji Kondo, Soyo Okada did a well done job at capturing that Mario feeling and making sure each course fits the theme. From the mellow Koopa Beach to the exhilarating Rainbow Road.
It's also pretty cool that she took some inspiration from the music from Super Mario World, like Bowser's Castle and Ghost Valley. It really helps this game truly feel like a Mario themed kart racer.
Overall, it got good music, yo, and it's iconic for sure.
And that's Super Mario Kart. So, what do we think of it? Retro, your thoughts on this stupid game?
No thoughts. Empty brain. Who needs a freaking planet? This game was really revolutionary at the time. With the multiplayer and the items, it can make for a fun time compared to other racing games. However, I don't really get much fun out of it. Outside of the multiplayer, of course, any game is debatably fun with others. The main issue with the whole game for me is the drifting. Again, it's so hard to get used to, and you have no choice but to get used to it, or else say goodbye to the first place. There are minor issues I have, like the opponent's item system and the flat level design, but it's very passable. If you can get used to it, then have fun. If not, it's really bad. Probably the worst one out of the series.
As for my thoughts, while this game did kickstart arguably the greatest racing series of all time, it has undeniably aged in a lot of areas. And if I'm being honest, by today's standards, it's kinda bad. I really don't like how the characters can just spam their special items all willy-nilly. I know that that's the only item they have access to, but it's still very annoying whenever Mario and Luigi just spam their star item every 5 seconds. The course themes and layouts are bland and lacking in variety, and Lakitu is lazy at doing his job. But despite all that, should you get this game? Well, we would say yes.
For a cheap price, you can get it through the SNES Online on a Nintendo Switch, or the Wii U's Virtual Console.
Oops!
But either way, if you can get your hands on this game, I would say it's worth giving a shot. It may have aged poorly by today's standards, but it is an important game in Nintendo's history. It pretty much kickstarted the whole kart racing genre, and without it, we wouldn't have Mario Kart evolve to where it is today. Some series do need to make a lot of mistakes before becoming a huge success, and that's kind of what the Mario Kart series is. It may have had a rough first entry, but the developers would learn from their mistakes, and with every new Mario Kart game, they would improve upon aspects of their predecessors and introduce new interesting ideas and mechanics. But Super Mario Kart can still be a fun time, especially when you're playing with a frenemy. Despite the fact that it has aged and has more difficulty learning curves than the modern Mario Kart games, it is still an overall good time and interesting to see where the series started and how far it's come since then. And that's our thoughts on Super Mario Kart. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video.
Who needs a planet?